In 2015, she was inaugurated at the White House as one of 5 annually appointed student poets for the National Student Poetry Award. Along with this honor, she has garnered a variety of other recognitions and publications in journals, newspapers, and anthologies, such as the American Poetry Review, the Young American Poetry Digest, Susquehanna University newspaper, and more. She also runs cross-country and studies contemporary art in her free time. Please join me in welcoming to this, our 10th annual Albany State University Poetry Festival, Ms. Chastity Hale.
All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you for that introduction, Dr. Mack, and thank you for having us. And so I guess I'll start by reading a shorter piece of mine called Coastal Scenes. So, thank you. All right. Coastal Scenes. I sit beside a stranger on the riverbank, looking out at the magnified gray. Clouds like steam from a crater roll across the sky. Behind us is a stretch of buff yellow grass and cattle oozing with sleep. The stranger collects handfuls of pebbles, then one by one, drops them back into the body of water. I watch them as they are swallowed by the inland sea. So that's Coastal Scenes. It's a bit of a short piece. And now I'm going to read something a little longer called On Climate Change. On climate change. 1, growing older. We used to be honeysuckle vines draped from a trellis, dangling by our arms from monkey bars. Then, we hadn't known how we could grow in places we were never sown, nor did we understand how we could exist as both sweetness and bitter at once. But when childhood began to cool like beach sand at nightfall, and when we got too tired of blisters, too old to swing across the rungs, so tall that our feet touched the ground, we stopped being. The flowers of some twining vines are edible, while the berries are poison. Possibly someone, maybe time, swallowed the best parts of us. 2, free wildlife management. We used to think ourselves animals, grazing field and rolling desert, eating sun. I remember pitching down grassy hills, climbing trees, watching a blue jay in Ohio and thinking, if only I could fly, we would be the same. In physics, extinction is the shattering of light. So, if we turn away as the wavelengths of other species turn to flat lines, separate ourselves in tandem, pretend the earth isn't changing, and hold on, like we do to near broken telephone chargers, bending the cord until it works. Useless, but good enough for now. Our humanness, our apex predatory will shine. 3, from the forks of trees. I used to see myself in flowers. They looked like egg yolks and sugar beaten into soft peaks of autumn, and the grass glowed deep green beneath the gray-blue mountains inhabiting the sky. 4, I too am guilty of forgetting. Somewhere, glaciers are melting the way I do into my mattress after a long day, and water levels are rising like a diaphragm that breathes in oxygen but is incapable of exhaling. 5, if you don't use it, you lose it. We used to be active and caring about the world, but like a bystander effect amongst expired children, we do nothing, believing someone else will. And we refuse to take any of the blame, instead listing other reasons for the changing of the world. The cause of climate change is the wake of hurricanes from the expanse of oceans, space particles, and inevitability, but never us. And it's not that our job as salvagers of the world is finished. It's just that we fail to see anything worth saving anymore. Our power of ecological empathy has grown weak. We've reached the age of carelessness. 6, on feeling empty. Human impact is a cigarette boat, tearing through the stillness of the water. And perhaps the earth is something easy to leave, like a pure light on the fringe of a dock, flickering and dissipating its gold into the dark. I think the particles will be the only ones to remember us. So, and the next piece I'm going to read is a bit of a rough draft. And this poem is actually about eggs, and I'm really excited because I've never had a chance to read this somewhere. And so here we go. The poem is titled Eggs. Spanish sun. Spanish egg yolks. Dark red, orange, or citrus. Runny and running across daybreak. That is, until they disappear. You know, there's this joke about chickens that goes, "Why don't chickens like people?" I don't remember the punchline. I just remember I didn't understand it. But even in forgetfulness, I can think of a few reasons. 1, Spanish sun. No, a carton of eggs from somewhere not America, where the chickens run across fields green like spring barley, and they feed from marigolds orange like sunsets to make golden yolks. In the scope of modern food, on chicken farms, laying hens are shadows compressed into a dark room. They are born, fated to injury, met by a simmering blade that burns with the heat of forest fires and tears their keratin beaks from face. From slivers of silver cage, they watch death or life, whatever you will, so close their feathers cannot unwrinkle in the compact. Then, with bones on the bridge of crumbling, life burst, runny and running, they're sent to slaughter. Spanish sun. Some say eggs taste better beneath it. That's that. Okay. The next piece I'm going to read is titled And So. And so. Jake says I water the plants too much. And sometimes, when we're looking through the windshield of his aged pickup truck, I remember the little things, like how I left the kitchen lights on. One time, I pet the neighbor's dog Barney when he wasn't wearing his muzzle. I got bit. The man at the supermarket speaks to me with an edge in his voice. I am a stuttering apology. And Jake says, it's okay. I call my mom and leave a voicemail even though I know she won't call back. On Sunday, there are only 2 eggs in the carton, and the cake I'm making needs 3, so I say, what do we do now? And Jake says, I don't know. I don't know. I'm reading off my phone, I'm reading my journal on paper. The next thing I'm gonna read is titled A Culture of Violence. And I really like the math and sciences. I don't know if you've seen that in some of the pieces I've just read, but science, especially environmental science, like manifests itself in my work a lot. And this poem actually follows Fibonacci sequence, so each of the lines and stanzas at the end are sort of in the order of Fibonacci sequence. So it's a poem that I like. It's titled A Culture of Violence. Say I am the succession of Old West. Say I am countrywoman of America. Maybe not countrywoman, but country girl or country child, quizzical and dreaming. Last night, I dreamed the American dream was a pineapple, large and golden, its family berries coalesced in Fibonacci sequence across its whole gold body, and great flowers flowering, only tonight, forever to blackness. Grandfather, it is not uncommon for me to picture our kinfolk once full, wondering about your life, and in conjunction, mine. I'd like to think you met death like I sometimes meet sunlight in the mornings, as it fills into my room through the blinds, thin layers of ultraviolet, unobtrusively settling. Sometimes, it feels like I'm alone in this thinking. But earlier that same night, looking out the window into oblivion, I watched a Sin City thug, his gold teeth flickering, tattoos etched from neck to chin, and hands dug deep in his pockets as he unwound, untroubled, into the parts of Vegas where even ambulance EMTs are too afraid to drive. Now I think, maybe we are not so different. Here, even beneath the moon's flickering, we can soften into night, and I have never felt more free than when I allowed myself to unwind into darkness. Okay, and so the next poem I'm going to read is a little bit on the longer side. And Dejan, sitting in the front, will probably remember this because we were in Aspen not too long ago for a young leadership seminar, and it was a very inspiring trip, and that's where I wrote this poem. So this is titled, Thoughts You May Have While Atop the Aspen Mountains. 1. This is not a pen. It is a travel card, freeing you into the scape of lines and stanzas, the instant that skin presses to steel, ballpoint to paper. In the white space, every letter is a blinking light, neighborhoods with enjambment free-flowing into the next. Often, the ink leads you to the vestibule of a jaded building, its infrastructure of memory traces falling apart, paint peeling, needing words to be restored. 2. You relive riding your bike on the beach boardwalk, tires sticking to yellow sand and cattails tickling ankles. And you walk through your old house, sifting the dust off the kitchen table, imagining Dad never smoked one too many cigarettes in the garage. You pass the time Uncle Jamal stood in your driveway with his wide smile the day Mom gave him your old Suzuki. And you pass Jay, lead guitarist of Barbara and Company, strumming the music to songs with names but no words yet. 3. You had walked up a mountain through Earth's mouth, allowing the dark to swallow you. Even though the moon is small and waning, lunar light is breaking on your back. You sit on the rooftop of a building, breathing in the cold waves, and watching the houses in the Rockies make like still flames. Dad asks the universe to send falling stars. Although you'd like to pick up a pen, there has never been another moment like this, one where the sky is stripped of light pollution, one with 4 other poets by your side. The 5th adverbial definition of the word just in the Oxford Dictionary is simply, only, no more than. You tell yourself to just be here, simply, only, nowhere else. Einstein was right. For a nanosecond, a moment amongst 1,000, between the 3.69 seconds when it entered and the 3.7 when it left, we were in 2 places at once. A star in space and the atmosphere, ardent and blinking. Or so you will write. Sometimes imagining yourself as you are, and other times imagining yourself as the star, traveling some 480 kilometers a second, picturing the Milky Way, its suns, and its cosmic dust, neurons firing beneath the brain scan before disappearing. Thank you. And it looks like we have a few more minutes, and so I'll just read one last piece, which is, when you ask why I am not ready to love you, I will say, like Florida oranges, I am quartered, spilling citrus across kitchen counter, better enjoyed in parts. To live in this body is to be a sparrow, lost in the airport, catching glimpses of the voice canal, watching terminals take in air and people like oxygen, and still being unable to leave this rib cage. When I was sugar-scrubbed new and Old West girl before this nearly grown beach baby, my mother was the meekness of something that flutters with paper wings. I knew many men to be magicians. I thought they could make night sizzle and melt into anyone. Before I was even alive, my granddaddy showed my mom how to leave a body an empty container. He knew the trick so well. He hasn't come back since. When you ask why I am not ready to love you, I will say, a woman is not a hardcover book. She is not to be kept on a shelf. She does not need a bookend to hold her cast iron face or back. She does not break where her pages gather or need your long stitches to mend lacerations in her spine. My own father showed me how one can draw anger from the bottom of a bottle. It is an age-old trick, but over the years it's changed. Now he pulls something like sorry or sorrow, a hybrid of the two. He can also change faces, sometimes looking new, the way I remember him, other times looking worn, pepper-haired and wrinkles forming from the heaviness of time where it sits upon one's forehead. When you ask why I am not ready to love you, I will say, I am turning into ultraviolet streams, yellow linen sheets, and sunflower swivels. I am learning where happiness grows in the gray matter. When you ask why I am not ready to love you, it is because my heart beats in my fingertips. And in my heartbeat, I carry throbbing pen and the world and myself. I wave goodbye to you from the train platform. One day, if my hands are less full, if the world grows smaller, if you're still waiting. Thank you. Okay, and so that's all of the pieces I brought to read to you guys today. Thank you so much for listening to me, and yeah.
We have Mr. Dijon Hardges. Dijon Hardges is a 17-year-old writer whose genres include poetry, short fiction, plays, and hip-hop. This former Midwest National student poet is currently a senior creative writing major at Cleveland School of the Arts. In addition to studying writing, he has learned to produce beats, engineer, mix, and master music. An avid performer, he has appeared at the Rock Hall of Fame and at the Kennedy Theater at Playhouse. He explains, performing for me is a rush of excitement and ambition that drives me to work hard. Every time I step on stage, I give my all to the people who gave their time to support me. In 2015, he too was inaugurated at the White House as one of 5 annually appointed student poets of the National Student Poet Award. Well, I should add, there were 10,000 applicants for that award the year that these two won, and they're one of 5. Mr. Hardges resides in Cleveland. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Dijon Hardges.
Black and red Jordans with the black check on the side. But I swear he told me that he stood in line the first time when they first came out. And tell me why he rocking the Dickies. Real baggy, a black rocker, wearing it proud. That was his armor. Made him bulletproof with all the rips and holes. Even with his fitted cap, you could definitely tell this character from a caricature. Breath hotter than a devil peeing whiskey, constantly staring and preaching on that same corner, smelling of the same thing. People say the same thing, story changed, but same thing every day. He claims he done seen it all. But his eyes, they were solid gray. Everybody say he's lost it, but I think he hella sane. I listen. Facts is all I hear. A primary source sound like he was right there. Everything becomes vivid, the stench of each picture speak descriptions only he could hear. Now he pass them on to whoever he catch listening. One time, he told me about a conversation he had with that house on the corner. Like 3 different colors. They had a discussion. They criticize being loyal to compromise because nothing harder than self-reliance out here on these mean streets. That's how he said it. He had a sense of humor, but that's not why I didn't forget him. He was actually wise, so I respect him. Aim a few dollars his way just to get him rejected. He would tell me the superior sign told him not to accept it. He claimed my ear was enough, so I continued to lend it. As he told me where he found that shell of a building, it was the late 80s. He said, a few cops in a gang were bumping heads. A couple dozen shots left everybody dead. It was horrible. The building just had to be condemned, but it still caused trouble. You know, suicides and car accidents. Boom! Into the brick entrance. The city got sick of it, so they tried to tear it down, but it kept resisting them, left a shell there, and a few skeletons talked to him all before he cleaned up and settled in. He claimed it. After they mangled it, the city's trash became his settlement, living life, is what he claimed he does. Every day on that corner, getting extremely drunk, but when I ask, his response is, no, I'm just a little buzzed. I don't think he crazy, that's just something you labeled him. Ears listening to broken records, broke ears from passing that paper, man, I'm done hearing, yo, look at this. No name pick in the obit says he had no job or a place to stay. No one knew his identity. He never wore a mask. Said he was a drunk. And that's just how y'all pictured him, because really, he was superior. So the next poem I'm going to read to you all is, it was a class assignment that was given to me my sophomore year. We were supposed to be picking our favorite superhero. And for the simple fact that not one of the primary superheroes I could have chosen was African American, I felt some type of way. So I invented my own. His name is the Necro Rebeller. Necro meaning death. We believe we can fly. Limits in the sky influence meticulous feelings before our organs lay dormant on the concrete beneath the skyscraper we just finished climbing. We rupture. The ones you thought no one was tougher than explode, technically combustion, both cold and devastating. If you were black, would it be a catastrophe? What if the dark night was really dark on the inside of his mask? Would it still be a big deal to find out his identity? Would you still care if the police kept trying to kill or apprehend him? Why do views change because our skin is different? You should view everyone the same. Don't depend on ethnicity. We're all the human race, and we're all unpredictable. Would you build a monument for Superman if he looked like Childish Gambino? The S on his chest now stands for Stoner Man, not Superman, no lighter, so he lights a blunt with his supervision. This compromise allows him to get stoned quicker. Pause. The lines missing are after saving the world. The media don't show the whole picture. My mic is starting to give, so before it gives, listen. T'Challa had a son, an illegitimate son, unknown to everyone. Only his mother had knowledge of his presence. His mother, whom was Caucasian, both isolated, domestic, staying in the neighborhood of Hell's Kitchen, Manhattan, had no knowledge of the hero and its possession. Hidden in a cellar. As the power in his DNA began to fester, stay here and be quiet, his mother would say or gesture, because he was a secret. The biggest secret, which gave more reason to leave him hidden. Him leaving that basement was forbidden because in his blood were traits of a hero. The problem with that was it's Afro-American blood. As he grew up, the crave for understanding his life grew 10 times as fast as his size. This young man with brown skin, age 5, intellect more mature than mankind, was just like you and I. He had a mother that thought she knew what's best. No memory of his dad because he was never there. A father's absence plus a strict but passive mother raised a brother in cave-like covers to save blacks from each other. It was 4/27/99 when he was released into this world, planning to make change with words. So the next piece I will perform for you all is a poem that I was supposed to be performing for the Democratic headquarter openings in Cleveland for Hillary, but because of how controversial the poem was, she didn't let us perform. So my cover is black, so no one wants to read my pages. A voiceless face neither needs a face, and although it doesn't speak, it's even harder to face it. My bookmark is hanging, dangling, long and hard, swaying lower than others. Black and male. I was born with 2 strikes on my name. Strike 3 is the end of the game so early. It's not my fault I'm flawed. I didn't ask to be outlawed, thrown into the jaws of the law and destined to kill, be killed, or trapped behind bars. The cause was just 'cause. As a human, natural selection granted, I have a bundle of flaws, all easily exposed at horrible times. As embarrassment accumulates, it seems more humorous to spectators, so I try to leave thoughts like these in the back of my mind. But since I'm positive, I attract negativity. Or my complexion attracts attention on facets only mentioned with the black male's description. No matter how many times I'm mentioned in positive instances, my description still gets more listens, follows, friend requests, retweets, and all that bleak my generation deems worthy. Ignorance is bliss in this era. Bad traditions of an area, demographics made to be barriers, separating the minds of Americans. State boundaries, a freaking hell on earth. You're up in heaven cause a jealous country begot. You're up in heaven cause a jealous country begot war on the same continent you normally order breakfast from. I jump face first into what I believe. And I believe everyone should be treated equally on their earth journey. You'll never believe what I received for just trying to connect the dots of understanding with a bottle of water. Replace the labels with quotes showing humanity, handwritten. I was protesting Cop Lives Matter and Black Lives Matter because all lives make up the human race. In the future, I plan to create one ethnicity we all fit descriptively. Artist. Like you said, I'm a hip hop artist, so this last piece I'm gonna share with you all is gonna be a song from my EP coming soon called Music Saved My Life. All I really need y'all to do is a steady, that's it. Come on. I know y'all got rhythm. Let's go. Uh-huh. Everybody, keep going. I need some more so it's a little louder. Yeah, yeah. So, everybody ain't meant to rock. Some acts to get the block. So, you can, you was off. I saw you. You knew you messed up. Come on. Let's go. You got it. Keep going. Yo. Everybody ain't meant to rock, some actually get the block. So you can keep knocking, but won't knock them down. If our love is never found, more lives will be lost in time. I know we can't save them all on this memory card, and it's not my job at all. But I see bodies dropping like dominoes. Some get to live life at all. Had 3 strikes from the start. Come on. You got it. More confidence. How y'all letting these little kids beat y'all out? Come on, I know y'all ain't got rhythm? Come on, in the back, let's go. I see y'all. We ain't gonna get through the performance, you know, come on. Yeah, you in a gray shirt, come on, man. Look, so everybody ain't meant to rock, some actually get the block, so you. It wasn't you this time, it was one of y'all on the end. I want to say it was you. It's cool. I'm gonna do it a cappella. Everybody ain't meant to rock. Some act so they get the block. So you can keep knocking, but won't knock them down. If our love is never found, more lives will be lost in time. I know we can't save them all on our memory card, and it's not my job at all. But I see bodies dropping like dominoes. Some ain't get to live life at all. Had 3 strikes from the start. So what's the point to end these bars or count the stars? When the period is just gonna end it all. I'm doing my part. Having a good heart is a good start, but I wanna do more, for sure. Save a life, then do an encore. Be a hero in your words. I just did it for the honor of saving the sky. I just did it for the honor of saving the scholar, blooming flower of the next Obama. Remember, I called it. This is a shout out. I've been thinking for a long time, but these thoughts have never crossed my mind. Moving too fast to ever fall in line, cause the grass is greener on the other side. No time to play, I gotta make it mine. All of my life there were plenty of signs pointing me towards it. It's almost mine. Cause the grass is greener on the other side. I'm only 17, but I've seen a couple scenes, at least PG-13, before I became a teen. Taught me a couple things. One, the world is cruel. We use you as a tool and play you as a fool, like Nintendo. Once they see a window, opportunity be worse than kinfolk. Only goal is to come and get you. Now pick you up, put you under 30 inches for an afterlife sentence. No good intentions, trying to get a mention. Not like living in a big house or grinding to get a big house. I was grinding to feed his mouth and his mouth and his mouth so we can all eat out and chill in a big pool with our feet out, no tan needed. When you see how hot I spit and how bad I lived and how tragic it is to be a black kid on the streets that I lived in. I've been thinking for a long time, but these thoughts have never crossed my mind. I move too fast to ever fall in line. The grass won't be greener on the other side. No time to play, I gotta make it mine. All of my life there were plenty of signs pointing me towards it. It's almost mine, because the grass is greener on the other side. Oh, I'm tired. I don't know if that was 20 minutes. I tried.
It was great. Let's give these two phenomenal points. Any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them. Yes, ma'am, Ms. Brown, Ms. Brattle. If y'all want to come up, you can.
Yeah, here I go. You the sacrifice, go ahead.
Wait, okay, does anyone have any questions for either of us? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Okay, so the question was what age that the both of us started writing. And so for me personally, I have been writing for really as long as I can remember, but I didn't start writing poetry until the 6th grade. So, yeah.
I want to say for me, I don't know how old you is, around like 4th, 5th grade, I don't remember honestly, but it was like 4th grade where I actually started writing poetry, but before then I was always writing hip hop. I guess that's just like a thing. In the back? what's up? I'm always looking for people to collab with. It's whatever. Just call me. I'll shoot you my contact info. Come on.
Yes. So it seems that you're both young artists and have a passion for this. And maybe it's too soon to ask this, but is this something that you see as a career path for you? I'm sure it will always be a part of you. What's next?
Absolutely, yeah. I would definitely love to pursue writing as a career. And of course, I want to have sort of interdisciplinary career, mixing writing with a bunch of different things, possibly like astronomy or environmental science, or we'll see.
So the funny thing about that is, like I said, I've been writing hip hop since like ever. But at the same time, growing up, I always had a feeling like I was going to be in the poetry world somewhere, maybe mentoring. I actually like to mentor. It's something that I have just begun to do, but it's like another passion for me. And then it was the performance poetry aspect that I always said, like, I'm going to travel the world and perform everywhere. And I mean everywhere. But it wasn't until like my sophomore year that it actually became realistic when I was appointed the National Student Poet role with her and 3 other amazing people. It wasn't until then that it actually became like, for sure, I'm going to write. So at this point in my life, yes, I plan on being a literary performance artist and mentor. So be looking for me. Yes, beautiful person.
I guess there was more of an observance. I was just coming home from the airport, actually, and the whole part about the sparrow sort of came to me, and then I wrote the rest on the plane, and so.
I was actually wondering when you was going to start projecting.
Do you want to answer first?
So due to the fact that I go to a art school and my mentor is actually one of the dopest performance artists to ever step foot in the world, Daniel Gray Contar, he is my favorite and will always be my favorite artist.
Okay. And so I would second that to an extent. I also go to a performing arts school, and so I'm inspired by my peers and also my creative writing mentor, Miss Jen Kratnick. But some of my favorite poets would have to be Terrence Hayes, Audre Lorde, Gwendolyn Brooks, Rita Dove, and so many more. Naomi Shabnai. But those are just like the first few that come to my mind.
Come on.
Okay. Tell us, how was it meeting the Obamas?
Mrs. Obama. And how many people in here are big fans of Beyonce? Bow. So imagine y'all all was that person that's a real big fan of Beyonce, and then you just walked into a room and she was just standing right there smiling at you like, come give me a hug. That was how it was. But she's bigger than Beyonce, so it was like 2 Beyoncés in a room at once. They both trying to give you a hug. Yeah. They was both like.
It was really, really incredible and surreal. But yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot. We ain't been repeating the questions. We're so sorry. So the question was, who is my mentor my favorite hip hop artist, or do I have a separate favorite? That's actually a very, very good question, for the simple fact that he has an album that's a current collectible that you got to pay like $75 for, and I can't afford that. I mean, I can, but at the same time, why am I about to pay when I know you? But yeah, like he is one of my favorite, hands down, one of the best hip hop MCs I've ever seen touch the scene. But currently, I think my favorite artist for just the revolution of his flow would be Futuristic. I don't know if y'all hip, but he an underground artist from Arizona that's coming up. Be looking for him. My bad, I saw his hand up first. I'm gonna come back to you. How old were we when we did our first poem? Chastity? Yeah, I'm sacrificing.
I was in the 5th grade when I wrote my first poem.
Feels so long ago. I want to say it was around the same time, maybe like 4th, 5th grade, and it was a Black History poem that we were submitting to Black History contests. So I took a lot of time and effort and put it into that.
My poem was about birds.
Tweet. Oh yeah. Beautiful person in the back. How you doing? I want all of you to hear me out when I say this. Your question was, how do I feel about more current mainstream trash artists? So I want you all to hear me out when I say this. I love you all dearly, but they are the worst artists to ever step foot in hip hop. For the simple fact that when hip hop was all created, it was something that was empowering the Black community and more so trying to stop gang violence. They're promoting it and promoting a image of a lot of things that we don't want anyone to really look at it like, for real. Like in all actuality, how many girls in here would prefer if dudes just called them B-words all day? How many dudes would prefer if no one fought them and just shot them all the time? That one hand, I see you. But at the same time, it's just like, they not hip hop. I call it turnt music. So we're gonna stop referring to them as hip hop artists and call them turnt artists, just like the trap artists. Great question. What's up with you? Beautiful person. What's up?
And so the question was, what is it about poetry that you love? And I guess for me, it would be just the ability to share a story or to say something personal about myself without like having to be very overt. And I think that like imagery and poetry and figurative language is really the best way to express myself personally. And so that's what I love about poetry and writing in general. So thank you.
I would probably go to say the freedom part of it, because like, I don't know about y'all, but I ain't used a poetry format in like 4 years, 7 hours, a month, 2 weeks, and like a couple days. I ain't used the poetry form in a long time. But I just really like the freedom that it gives you to express yourself. Like I can sit here and write a full poem about the way my toes look because I sat them in the water for too long, and it'll still be amazing because, I mean, I was expressing myself. So it's just the freedom of it. I didn't soak my toes in no water, just to let y'all know. They cool, they ain't pruned. All these beautiful people in here, come on. Yes, beautiful person.
What advice would you give to aspiring poets?
She got the perfect advice.
Okay, I don't know what the perfect advice
You told
is.
me.
But, so what advice would I give to aspiring poets? I guess I would say for anyone in the room and that I would just say to practice and to read lots, because it's really important that you find people that you look up to and that you, I don't know, you can learn a lot from reading other poetry. You can learn a lot about form and yeah. I would just say to express yourself, be honest in your writing, and so if you feel like you want to write about something personal, just start writing and let it go. And then also, we had a workshop with Elizabeth Alexander once, and she gave us really wonderful advice, which is to put your critical self away when you're writing. And so I would definitely recommend that to any aspiring writers. Don't try and think too hard about what you're going to write or edit while you're writing. Just keep going, and then afterwards is when it's time to revise. Then I guess the last thing would be to share your work with other people, with your peers, because if no one sees it, then there's really no way of improving. It's important to get constructive criticism and to just really be able to grow by seeing how other people interpret your work. And so that's the advice that I would give to any aspiring writers. Yeah.
Oh, I don't have any. You gave exactly what I was looking for. I was hoping that you said what you told me, or it was gonna be a problem.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I started poetry at Elite Academy of the Arts. It's no longer a school, unfortunately, because they was trying to steal our money. But it was a okay school for the most part. It put me ahead of any community school around me, academic-wise, and then it also gave me like an artistic advantage in multiple different aspects. I played the drum, piano, guitar. I ballroom dance and praise dance. Then I also write poetry, short fiction, hip hop plays. It gave me a wide range of different arts to work with. So it was a dope little school.
The question was where or why?
Where? I'm so sorry, I keep forgetting.
Oh, okay. Why? Oh, okay.
I thought he said where.
Okay. And so I started writing poetry because I guess it was something that I was always interested in. I've always been interested in writing, and I was writing a lot of short stories before I started writing poetry, but then I just sort of branched off into a bunch of like different types of writing, and so now I do everything from poetry to playwriting, and it's really fun. So
You're amazing.
yeah. Thank you. Okay. So are we? Okay.
That's
Thank
it?
you so much, everyone. Thank you for all of your questions and for listening to us.
Thank you for being beautiful people and being here in general. That was dope.
Let's give them another hand of applause, please. And as a parting gift, we have autographed copies of Kwame Dawes' Dumpy Conqueror and autographed copies of Sacrilegion by Lamar Wilson for either, both of you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome so
Take
much.
this. I appreciate you so much, man.
I appreciate you too, baby.
I'm gonna keep these. I'm not getting these back.
Okay.
These are mine.
You're welcome. All right, so we are wrapping things up for the 10th annual Albany State University Poetry Festival. It's been great these 10 years, seeing all the phenomenal people who've come across the stage, sharing their voices, inspiring us to greatness, and then helping us improve on every day. So we want to make sure that we continue the conversations that these events spark in us. Right? Those of us who are poets, we'll have an opportunity coming in the spring to contribute your words to the Parian Journal. The university puts out a Parian literary journal every spring. So there'll be a call for submissions coming out for that soon. This year, the theme for the journal is empowering and inspiring women. All right, so the guest editor for this year's journal is Damaris Hill from the University of Kentucky. So she'll be the guest editor, and so we'll be looking for poems, plays, short stories, essays that deal with inspiring or empowering women. So we want to hear your voices. And that doesn't mean that only women can submit, but we are looking for poems, plays, short stories, and essays by any person who wants to reflect on an empowering or inspiring woman. And that can be a literary figure, it can be a personal figure, whoever you choose. Sounds great? All right, so join me please one more time thanking Chastity and Dijon. And I have just a few more books to give away. Yes? Oh, you didn't even answer the question yet. All right. I have 2 more books to give away. These are copies of Kwame Dawes' Dumpy Conqueror. All right? Ready for the challenging question? Who is your favorite poet from this year's Poetry Festival, and why? Well, you already have one. You can't get another one. Yes, sir. Oh, why? 'Cause? Okay, well, that's good enough. And Chastity did what? Yes, ma'am. She had her hand up first. She's very what? Dramatic. She said dramatic. Okay, look at that. Come on over, baby. And young man with the glasses, you raised your hand. Okay, and
I think both of them because they both express their feelings.
come on up. You're welcome. Amazing. He said it with authority. I love that. They express themselves. Words to live by. Those of us who have to express ourselves tomorrow in your oral presentations, don't forget that. Look at that. They didn't think that, they thought I forgot. Oral presentations tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Yes, express yourself. No, it's like tomorrow. Tomorrow. And then also, again, if you have some time, Chastity and Dijon will be here to mix and mingle. Definitely come in and shake their hands and say hello. And thank you again for helping us make another Poetry Festival a tremendous success. Thank you and look forward to seeing you again next year.